What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Leopard Prototyp A. It's the Tier 9 German medium tank. It's located on the north spawn of Malinovka encounter, and this one is under the command of General Anonymous. Well, this is an interesting tank. There were 26 prototypes, and they were developed between 1960 and 1961, and it's a medium tank for the Bundeswehr. It eventually ended up with the Leopard 1. Now it's actually better than the Indian Panzer because you've got a choice of a 90mm or a 105, and the 105 is very, very good indeed. The 90mm not so. Okay, he's decided he's going to go quickly up here to do a bit of sniping first, just in case the enemy does come up, but he's a little bit too close to the bush. And the first enemy comes into sight in the distance is a Carnarvon. But if he fires now, he will get spotted by the guys who are directly opposite him. And it's a 251. He's spotting him, but he's not firing. He does fire, and he gets the kill. He delayed that just long enough for his teammates to deplete the health until it got to a one shot, and then he took the kill. So that's nice playing, because if you play like that, you will eventually end up getting pools, medals, Radleys, just about everything. Because those are the guys, that's how you do it. You delay your fire to seize the kill away, snap the kill away from your teammates at the right moment. Now it does have decent alpha. It's 420 meters with 420 hit points, or I should say, with the 105mm gun. It's less with the 90mm. And the 90mm is a really difficult stock grind, I'm afraid, for this tank. Well, 420 alpha, 278mm with standard APCRs. He's firing here, and with the premium APCR, it's 323mm of pen, so it's not bad for a tier 9. Try to get a shot on that charcuterie before as he disappeared off into the distance, and he didn't get spotted actually. Notice that. So nobody can actually see him at the moment. Now the shell velocity is very high. It's 1480 meters per second, which makes this a hyper accurate sniper from distance. And the bad things about it is it lacks armor. It's got a fairly low rate of fire. The normal reload time is normally 10.16 seconds, so it's a bit slow. But of course you can speed that up, and well, General Anonymous is not using premium consumables, so he's not speeding it up that much, except by having a good crew. He could have vents though, that might help. Long reload. Yep, he gets the hit there as well. Low roll, 408. And they've gone down into the dip, so they are going to be approaching soon. He needs to reposition to continue firing, because once they're down into that dip, they can get close to you, as their Leopard Prototyp has. Yeah, if you stay where you are in the forest, you are vulnerable. Now he's been joined by a Centurion Action 10. Yes, the alpha on the 90mm is only 250. That's why it's a bit lackluster compared to the 105mm. Good shot. He had to get that one in on TNH, because if he didn't, that guy was going to get way too close. And he's on a ridgeline at the moment. He's got 8 degrees of gun depression. He's going to need to use that now. TNH is gone. Now this thing does have fairly good view range, 400 meters, and it has a fairly good top speed, 65 kilometers an hour. It's more like a light tank than a medium, but of course it gets that excellent speed mainly down to the fact it doesn't have any armor. As I mentioned, that is a very bad thing. Well, gets a nice hit there for 200, well that's actually not 287, there's the bad armor bit. He actually just got splattered by the Leopard Prototyp and several other tanks at the same time. He lost 521 to the Runner Sorrente and 415 to the IS-32. He's lucky actually, because the IS-32 could have fired 2 rounds into him but didn't. He actually only pressed the button for 1 round. Yes, it's more like a light tank speed, but again, no armor, so it's a bit like a light tank's armor as well, even though it's a medium. And that's the big handicap with the Leopard Prototype. That's why it's a good thing to actually shoot from a distance where the enemy can't touch you, or at least find it difficult to get a shot into you. Okay, got a target. Yes! That fast shell. That's a high roll, 413.9. IS-3, is he going to come into view? He's right up there on that little second platform on the hill. The lower platform, I should say. He's doing a bit of forestry work at the moment, trying to provide cover for him and his teammates. And that Rhinoceronte has come all the way down. Now remember, that guy's got a dreadful reload time. But he does have a fairly meaty gun, 127mm, and a good alpha. He's an auto reloader, and oh, Leopard tried to be sneaky, and he takes another round, which is a high roll, 467. Watch out for the IS-3 too. He's just poking around the corner at the moment. Well, he's trying to blind shot the Leopard. Unfortunately, we lost the M103. Yeah, the IS-3 too. The thing he's got to worry about though is the Rhinoceronte. If he comes up over that rise, he could put 2 rounds in. There he is. Yeah, nice. High roll again, 481. Remember, he's not that well armoured on the hull. He needs to be hulled down to make the most of his configuration, with the crew all in the actual hull and nobody in the turret. So you never aim for the turret if you can help it, although it is part of the hitbox. What you try to get is the hull, and I think that's what he was trying to do there, trying to aim for the hull. Of course, he doesn't want to get spotted by the guys up on the hill, because the Rhinoceronte will take it out on him. The good thing is that wreck there is actually providing a nice bit of cover, because there's a gap between the trees that the Rhinoceronte might be able to use. Now fires around directly where he saw the Leopard the last time, just in case he was poking. It's a good job that there's no Arty in this game, because if there were, and the fact that he's like knocking down all the trees, he'd be making it very easy for the Arty to know where he is. Okay, he hit him, but he didn't pen him. Wrong angle, and somebody fired back. No, I think that was the IS-3 too. More out of frustration than anything else. They can't come down off the hill whilst General Anonymous is holding this line. I thought he would have pulled back earlier in the game, but he's actually doing the right thing to stay where he is, because he's got the backup from some of his teammates, and at the moment we're 2 tanks up on the enemy and we're capping, and so long as the IS-3 and the Leopard are basically out of the game because they're so far up. They lost the support from the Rhinoceronte, and somebody fired at the ground just in front of him, so somebody can, or is guessing where he is. Okay, so we hit him, but we didn't pen him. But he is looking in our direction. You can't see us. Oh, that was a lucky shot. I don't think he knew where we were. But we're about, well, we're only 30 seconds away from capping. You see, they're firing in his general direction, but they're not hitting him. I'm not sure why he's going around in circles. He's trying to make up his mind where he's going to go next. If that IS-3 does the smart thing, he'd dive down into the dip, you know, just go over the side of the cliff, dive down in. He's taken another hit, and it's another high roll. 438. Oh, and fired back, and we capped out, and he got a complimentary shot right at the end, but it was a low roll. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the second class tank of a General Anonymous in the Leopard Prototyp A. He got a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, and a bruise in the middle for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6 in that one. But no other medals, but he did get a very high win 8, so I suspect his score was very high, but somebody else managed to pip him. He got 5,047 on the win 8, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at the details. Yeah, there was a Leopard 1. Somebody out there had the tier 10 version of this tank, the Leopard 1. He got 5,425 hit points of damage. And unfortunately, General Anonymous only got 4,985. And that's even after he got that last complimentary shot right at the end. It wouldn't have helped if he got another shot, because I think, to be honest, he was just a little way behind that Leopard 1. And he got, yes, a decent score there. But both of them did very, very well. In fact, the pair of them, between them, were the ones who were actually pulling their team along. 5,425 to the Leopard, 4,985 to General Anonymous, 3,078 went to the Centurion Action 10 on the enemy team. When it came to kills, though, the kills actually joined between the Foch 155 on General Anonymous's team and the IS-32 on the enemy team. They both got 3 kills apiece. 2 kills went to the Kampfpanzer 50 ton and the Object 140 on the enemy team, and he picked up a Defender. And General Anonymous only got the 1 kill in the game, but he did get that high score on damage. And when it came to base XP, yeah, because he was tier 9 and the Leopard 1 was tier 10, he wasn't getting the advantage of that bonus, that 10% bonus for every shot you fire at a tank which is 1 tier higher than you. That really does pay off in the long run. And that's why he got 929, whereas the RU-251, who picked up a patrol duty, got 796, the Skoda got 778, and that Leopard, well, he's a little way down with 670, not quite so good. The T-54E1 got an Invader, he must have been the one that was capping all the time, and the T-30 managed a Spartan. Oh, and it should be noticed the Jaeger got a steel wall in that game. He did survive the battle, but he did absolutely no damage and no kills. How can you screw that up? I was about to say the rude word, you know, the F word, but I mean, how can you get that wrong when you've got a Jaeger, a 17cm gun, and get no damage? Now, the only thing I can suppose is that this guy must have been AFK, and he got shot at a lot, but he just didn't respond at all, and that's why he wasn't really playing the game at all. He only ended up with 184 XP, but that is very embarrassing. And I mean, if that wasn't embarrassing enough, look at this, the Leopard Prototype, and we did fire at that guy. And was it the other one? No, it may have been that one. And the Leopard Prototype and the Waffenträger also got 0 damage, 0 kills. So, yeah, I don't think they were really in it. They probably didn't have their heart in it. Anyway, let's have a look at detail. 22 shots fired, 15 direct hits, 12 penetrations, damage of 4,985 hit points, of which 3,797 were at more than 300 meters. Those were all the long range shots he was firing up the hill. There were a few shots that were fairly close, actually, and the Rhino Sorrente and the other tanks who got just short of that that little wood on near the top of the hill, near the middle bit of the hill. Near the ramp, I should say, actually. That's the best way of describing it. He received 4 hits. 3 of them were penetrations, 1 non-penetration. That goes to show that this thing doesn't really have much in the way of armour. But it must be said that most of the hits he actually received weren't directly aimed at him. They were aimed in his general vicinity. And he accidentally was in the way at the time the shell came in. Loads more shells were fired at him and completely missed altogether and just hit the ground, because you could see the fountains of dirt being sprayed up in front of him. 420 hit points of damage blocked by armour, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 1 killed, and 1,369 hit points of spotting assist. Yes, he was really helping the team who were actually a little further back, because they could see the enemy, and of course it was General Anonymous who was actually providing them with the sight of the enemy to actually do something about it. 66,503 credits on a premium account. After repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, he still made a profit, but only just 4,074 credits. 1393 XP, 5576 for completing a mission, and 6969 experience points altogether. So that was a very good game. It just goes to show that the Leopard Prototyp A is actually very good, albeit that it does have very little armor. And of course it's that 105mm gun, which is excellent, and if only that reload time was faster. And that's where the premium consumables does come in. If you had a faster reload, then yes, that could really make a difference on racking up the damage. Let's have a look at the armor profile. Such as it is, you can see that it's very light armor, 50mm, rate to 92 there, upper plate 70mm, rate comes out at 117. It's fairly flat on that area where the driver's ports are. Obviously that's 0, but you can see it's only 30mm thick, but it's so well angled that you're not really likely to get around in there because it will bounce off. The sides of the tank are only 30mm along where in between the bogies, and the sides 35 there. And of course that is fairly angled, slightly angled, but not much angled. Sides of the turret 60mm, basically the same. 69 at the rear, 61 there. 50mm of actual armor, 61 with the angling, and of course it's got that raised engine deck, which obviously is you see on some of the other prototypes like the Prototyp A Standard B. They have that raised engine deck at the rear, and you're getting 35mm of armor on the sides. At the rear you're getting 25mm. The actual engine deck itself is only 20, so if you're an Arty, you want to aim for the engine deck if you can, because you're more than likely going to pen that, and you might pen the top of the turret as well. And so yes, let's have a look at the live version, because I know some like to see it. There's where the hitbox is. You can see you don't really want to aim for it from this direction at the sides, because you're more likely going to ricochet off. You've got a very good chance of penning it from the front, or in fact from any direction, and that's why he did get penned so often from the guys on the hill. Okay, modules. Big fuel tank up front, right next door to the driver. That's why you don't want to get hit in the front on this thing, because if you do, you're more likely going to get a fire. And that may be the reason why General Anonymous carries a fire extinguisher instead of the premium consumables, because he's concerned that he might actually get... Well, actually, that's not a fuel tank, that's an ammo rack. What am I saying? I'm getting it wrong. I thought, there's the fuel tanks sandwiching the engine at the back. No, it's this huge ammo rack at the front. Actually, you should be having the premium consumables. It will speed up the reload, but it's a very big ammo rack there. There's another ammo rack in the center of the vehicle and another one in the bustle. They've got the radio on the TC side, and he's sitting behind the gunner with the loader on the right hand side of the turret, which is standard configuration today for NATO tanks, or at least on most NATO tanks. The M1A1, the Leopard, they all have this sort of like configuration. Same with the Challenger. But on our tank, obviously, we tend to have the driver on this side of the vehicle, not that side. Or is it the other way around? Anyway, I know the Americans like to have their driver in the center, and I suppose some of the other tanks do as well. Anyway, that's the modules for the Prototyp A. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And we've got one more replay coming from General Anonymous. Yes, he's sent us quite a lot, actually. I've got a big bundle of his replays. I must get through them sometime, try and do a big burst at the same time. In fact, I've got the same for most members of the group, so I will try and get a burst of replays done. So you will get one chance at least to have nothing but your replays for a few days. Anyway, that was a good game. Just goes to show this thing is good. Even if you don't get a medal, you can still get great results if you act as the spotter or a sniper. Thanks very much for watching.